ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಅನ್ನುವುದರ ವಿಚಾರವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲವು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಟುಡೇ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ neuroscientific way of understanding what memory is and how memory works in each and every individual. Human brain is a masterpiece of complexity, a symphony of trillions of neurons working in concert. David Degelman. In his book called Brain, Dr. David Degelman explains how complicated and wonderful the human brain is. Now today we are going to examine not the entire brain per se, because none of us can understand and explain that. Especially as a teacher, I cannot explain much on that. But I will try to explain today on memory based on my understanding and recent readings about memory. Come, let us try to explore what memory is. Human brain is involved in memory, especially in the hippocampus, a part of the brain where information is encoded in neural networks as memory molecules. Now when I say neural network, it includes trillions and trillions of neurons, that is nerve cells, and the axons from that, nerves and the synapses, sense organs, all these things are involved in encoding the memory. Whatever we get information from outside through our senses are encoded in the brain. In which form it is encoded, how it is encoded, are all the wonders of the brain. None of us can completely understand that, but we can only say consolidation happens always in the brain, both synaptic, that means nerve endings, and also systems involving hippocampus and other parts of the brain. Consolidation happens and we get what is known as memory. Very brief explanation of the most complex phenomena, memory. Memory is a complex cognitive process that enables us to store, retain, and recall information. These are three important terms you should know. We store, we retain, and we recall information what has been encoded in the brain. Memory is the mental capacity to encode, store, and retrieve information, and also experiences, and also our learning. That means not only information, our experiences are encoded, our learning is encoded. So memory is a very complex phenomena that happens in our brain. And in this, recently it has been told that the genetic material, especially RNA, is involved in memory, and also it involves in memory transfers. Current theories on memory are diverse and constantly evolving. Not a single theory can explain how memory is stored in the brain and how it is changing every minute, how new memory is formed. All these are very complex phenomena, not very easy to understand, but very easy to tell. Let me take you to the types of memory. Human beings have different types of memory. I have just shortlisted here 7 types of memory which I have read in many books. They are sensory memory, STM or short-term memory, then working memory, long-term memory, episodic memory, semantic memory, procedural memory, and all these things. That means each one of them are very different. In a way, sensory memory deals with information we got from visual, that means seeing, auditory, listening, tactile touch, or smell. All these are there, and this will be very short term. That means sensory memory is very, very short, and it has to be stored before we could lose it. Then we have STM, called short-term memory, holds limited information, 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information for short duration. That means maybe a few minutes. That's called STM, or short-term memory. Working memory temporarily holds and manipulates information for cognitive processing. That means when you are working on a computer, the moment you take the mouse, you know how to switch it on, and the computer, the moment you switch it on, you know where the cursor of the will be moving. That means all these are what we call working memory. And then we have LTM, or long-term memory, which will be permanently stored in the brain. How it is stored, what kind of information are stored in the brain in the LTM, are all difficult things to explain. Then we have episodic memory. That means your personal episodes, what you get, your experiences, and events what you see, events what you experience are all personal to you. They are all episodic memory. Semantic memory, general knowledge. Words, if you know what is memory, the word memory, the moment you get the word memory, you recall many things. Like that, semantic memory refers to the memory, especially of the general knowledge. Procedure memory includes skills and habits. That means our regular procedure that we do every day and night. The moment you get up from the bed, you know you have to walk, and the moment you hold the toothbrush, you know you have to put the toothpaste. All these things are procedural memory which we remember. All these are encoded in the brain, especially in the hippocampal region, but only hippocampus is not the only thing to function. There are many parts in the brain which all work together to give you memory. In psychology and in neuroscience, there are many models, memory models, to explain you how memory works, or to imagine how memory works. Atkinson and Shiffrin memory model, it's a very old model. Those who studied psychology can understand this one. They proposed STM and LTM as separate systems, but today people may not accept that. Endel-Talving model, information processing, especially PDP approach. PDP refers to parallel distributed procedures. That means process. That means many neurons are there simultaneously, many information will be processed. That's called parallel distributed processes. Then Baddeley's working memory model emphasizes the role of attention in working memory in cognitive processing. Then connectionist models suggest memory as a network of interconnected modes. Craig-Lockhart model, this model emphasizes the depth. That means surface level or in-depth study. Sometimes we say you only know surface level. When you take an interview of somebody, you may say he knows information on the surface level, he does not know in-depth of it. Similarly, a doctor who performs surgery to begin with may know only surface level. As he experiences, he may go in-depth level. So then we come to AI-generated models, which are in many environments. So there are different models of memory. We will not be able to learn all of them, but you should know that memory is a complex phenomena and many models are there to explain. Not a single model of memory can explain everything fully and everything accepts it. Therefore, there is always a diversity in the in these models. How memory works, or what is the process of memory that happens in the brain? Well, one thing we know very well, that information is encoded. How it is encoded, what form it is encoded is not very easy to say, but it is all known that both DNA and RNA are involved in encoding. Sometimes they refer to as RNA molecules. Consolidation takes place. That means memory stored and encoded in one area may be transferred to other area by means of RNA molecules, perhaps. Storage, holding information in LTM. That means sometimes you remember many things which happened long ago, but sometimes you will not remember what you learned just 5 minutes ago. So these are all the different ways how the memory process takes place. Nobody can explain these things very clearly, but we know very well these are all the various processes that happens in the brain and different parts of the brain where memory is stored in different ways. And then retrieval, how we get back, how we retrace what the memory is again very difficult to understand. Neurosciences are trying to explain these things today. And forgetting, that means how we lose the permanent stored memory sometimes. As we become old, many of us may not remember sometimes our own name. That happens sometimes. So it is very difficult to explain what happens in the brain to get things forget. They are all wonders of the nature. Now, having understood memory is a complex phenomena, and also having understood that there are many parts in the neural pathways, the memory can be encoded. But let us see what are the factors that influence memory. Attention, emotion, motivation, sleep, aging, brain damage, all these things affect memory in one way or the other. Attention will help us to put things in the memory. It helps us to remember. Our emotion, anger sometimes may make you forget many things. Motivation sometimes may help you to remember many things. Sleep, that means when you sleep, maybe sometimes you forget something, some things you may remember. Aging, memory declines with age. There is no single individual on earth who is aged can remember everything. So aging allows you to lose memory. How does it happen? We have the same brain, we have the same hippocampus, everything is the same, but somehow the memory loss takes place. And the brain damage, also you will have memory loss. How does it take place is very difficult to explain. Memory loss can be explained on the basis of the memory disorders. For example, amnesia, loss of memory due to brain damage or disease. If you have seen someone who has been operated for bleeding in the brain, when the cranium is open and they remove a part of the brain, they may lose some tissue. When the tissue is lost, memory is also lost. Alzheimer's disease, progressive memory loss and cognitive decline. How does it take place? God knows. Dementia, cognitive decline, including memory impairment. As we age, we become very difficult to remember because our senses will be poor, our aging will decline, many things. All these things are natural processes. Therefore, today memory can be explained in the most natural way. But as I said earlier, there are many diversified theories explaining all these things. Well, as a teacher and as a learner, you must know how to improve your memory. There are many ways in which we can improve our memory. One is repetition. You know, in the earlier days, Veda time, lots of mantras have been orally taught to children, and those people remember it even at the old age. The moment they open one shloka, one word in a shloka, they can recite many more things. How this happened? Maybe repetition of the same thing again and again might help. Therefore, sometimes we say mug up for the sake of examination. That's what they do who score 100% in the examinations. Organization, structuring information with may help retrieval or getting back. Association, connecting things word by word may help you to remember. Mnemonics, using techniques to aid memory. Example, acronyms. LTM is an acronym for long-term memory. So these are the ways in which we can improve our memory systems. And exercise. Physical exercise may help in circulation of blood. That may help the healthiness of the brain, and therefore memory can be improved by such things. Today, the area of the neuroscience and cognitive psychology is evolving every minute or every day. There are key researchers in the world. I have listed here 6. There are hundreds of researchers, and there are journals, and there are periodicals, and even in internet you get lot of information on memory. I hope after listening to this presentation you will try to understand, especially if you are a student of cognitive psychology or a neuroscientist becoming. If you are interested in brain information, please try to get into internet and find out these things to know more about memory system. Finally, let me give my credits to Dr. David Diegelman for his wonderful book on the brain, which explains many things in a most interesting way. And ChatGPT today gives you a lot of information on the brain. Internet like Bing and all these things may provide you latest information. Creative Commons for 1 or 2 diagrams, and YouTube also for giving information on brain development. I thank you all for watching this PPT presentation.